Hi everyone, welcome in. I'm just working on a gray mitten tonight. I did finish the scarf and it matches the mittens here with the hat, the beanie. This is all from Jenn S's patterns, except for the scarf. I just based it on basically the same stitch, half double crochet, and I added my own fringe to it. But these are her patterns here. Very beginner friendly. And I'm working on a gray mitten tonight. I'm on the 20th stitch, or 20th row. And then now I'm going to go back up and work on the thumb. So we do single crochet in the first 15 stitches, half double crochet. Let me see, where am I at? Half double crochet in the next 6, and then we'll chain 11 up here. But I'll go through it. Single crochet in the first 15, and I chained. Let's see, did I chain 1 over here? Let's chain 1, turn our work, and then we'll do 15 single crochet. So 15 single crochets. Oh, hello. Welcome in. Oh, thank you. Working on a mitten. This pattern here. This is a scarf I made to match all of them. Thanks guys for being here. I got a gray mitten I'm working on tonight. And I am starting the thumb on the side here. So I need to make sure I have 15 single crochets. Let's see if I made too many, one too many. Let me look here. Take 15. Okay, and then I do 6 half double crochets. I have 20 rows across before I start my thumb. So I have 15 single crochets. I did 6 half double crochets up to that stitch marker, and this is 19 stitches down from the top of the mitten. And then I'm going to chain 11 for the thumb. It's going to be independent from the mitten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. working in the back loop, back down the chain, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook and the next stitch. So you turn your work kind of this way. This is the way you're going to be working back down the chain. So you want the back loop only. Everybody Loves Raymond is on. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Second chain from the hook. This is the first chain where the yarn is coming out. This is the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to go into this back loop here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of view. Okay, this is the first chain where the yarn's coming out. I want the second chain right there. Second chain from the hook is this one, the back loop. So you slip stitch that. You take it through both of those loops. And then you repeat that in the next stitch. So back loop only. Take your hook through, yarn over, pull through the first loop and the second loop. And then you're going to work back down this chain, this thumb chain that we made. Half double crochet in the next 8 chain stitches and in the next 6 stitches when the chain reconnects to the mitten row in back loop only. Half double crochet. And I hold that chain there just like this so I can clearly see my back loop. Sometimes you have to turn it towards you to see it. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then now that you're back connected to the mitten, you're going to do an additional 6. Okay, there's the last of the half double crochets. Then you're going to do slip stitches in the remaining 15 stitches here. This is now the pattern forming the thumb and increasing the base cuff of the mitten. Hello. Welcome in, you guys. Sorry I missed your comments. Thank you. Thank you guys. How old was I? Oh, I was a little girl. approximately 50 years ago when I learned how to crochet. Hello, Diane, Miranda, welcome in. So slip stitching the last 15. Going back loop only, and you slip it through both loops. It's called a slip stitch. Go through your back loop, yarn over, pull it through both loops. Slip stitch, slip stitch. Sometimes I'm working on different stitches and I automatically do a single crochet or half double, double crochet, something. And the stitches look wonky and I'm like, oh, I need to remove that. Start again. And then that last stitch is buried under that little knot at the end. So sometimes you just have to pull the little bump back and you can see that last little stitch in there in the back loop. That's what you need. And sometimes you need a smaller hook to get in there and get that little loop. Now it's going to look kind of angled. It almost looks, well, to me it did. When I first started crocheting these, it looked like I made a mistake. Looked angled and I'm like, did I miss some stitches or crochet too, short? But it all comes together. It will be fine. And sometimes I'll stretch it just to make myself feel better. But once you get it together, it's fine. This is how it lays when you sew it up. So it turns out just fine. So don't let that kind of make you nervous. Just angles like that as you're crocheting. So once you do your slip stitches, 15, clear to the end, and you got the one under the bump, then you chain one and turn your work. So now we can go back up, and I remove my hook like Jenn does. Jenn S is the one where I got the patterns from. She removes her hook after she chains one so that the stitch here, the loop, doesn't twist and make a larger bump on the end. Sort of keeps it straighter, less of a bump here. So then you go back up with single crochets as you're going away from the cuff here, going up toward the mitten. You do single crochets. When you come back down, it's slip stitches. And that's what makes the ridges and the stretchy, nice cuff there. So single crochets going up the mitten, slip stitches when you come back down. And these are all half double crochets up here. So we're doing single crochet, 15 stitches back up. You're going to go second chain from the hook. So not the one where the yarn's coming out. It's this next bump, the back loop only. So not this first one, but the second one. Hope that makes sense and you can see that right there. And I'm going to do a single crochet starting there in that first back loop. Whoops. Went through slip stitch. There we go. doing a single crochet. So you go through back loop, yarn over, pull that through that loop, and you have 2 left, yarn over and pull through both those loops. That's just a single crochet. That's a shorter one. And you can see that when you look at your half double crochet, which is a taller stitch. So if you forget and you've been doing this for so long and you start doing your half double crochets, you'll see the difference in your single crochet versus half double, where you messed up. Because I've done that so many times. Single crochet. And these are tight stitches from slip stitching on this side. If you don't keep them really loose, then it's a little bit more difficult to get your hook in there on this other side. Hello. Hi, Zayton. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm just doing a mitten. Very beginner friendly pattern. And you can make mittens and beanie hats with this pattern. And I get the pattern from a lady with the handle of Jenn, Jenn S, on the other platform, TT. And that one's going to be a little bit tougher to get through there. Let's see if I can get to it. I think I did. Okay. Yeah, they get tight on this side when you slip stitch. Let me see, I'm going to count. And I pull back that little bump on the end. So I make sure I count that chain. Oh, there. So I count this one. 6, 8, 10, 11. And 14. 15. Okay, let me just double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 15 single crochets and then 14 half double. Back up the thumb. We're still, oh, you're right. There's some things I watch that I'm like, wow, just amazed by. But it's nothing more than sticking with something and doing it over and over, practicing. And if you're determined to learn it, you can pretty much figure out, how to do most things. And these are all half double crochets. Back up the thumb. Five, 6, the thumb wants to curl there. 7, 8, 9, and you really have to hold hold that back. Sometimes it gets in the way. 10, 11. It gets easier as you go along these rows. Okay, there is. Now we're left with the two little chains. If you can see that. This one, you see the little bump there? And then this one. So you're going to slip stitch through the back loop of this one and the back loop of this one. So slip stitch is you're just going through that back loop, yarn over, and you're going to slip through the first loop and the second loop. And then under this, you might have to pull it back a little bit so you can see that last chain there. It's right here. It's kind of hidden under that little bump. And then you just slip through both of those loops. That makes the top part of your thumb. And then you chain one and turn your work. I'm going to remove my hook and put it into the back part to keep that loop straight when I go back down. So I'm not twisting it when I turn my work. You don't have to do that. Jen suggests that in a lot of her videos, so I've been trying to be consistent and do the same thing that she does. So I'm going to go back down my thumb of the mitten, and we're going to do 2 slip stitches just like we came up. We're going to do the backward or the reverse. 2 slip stitches, 14 half double crochets, and 15 slip stitches in the cuff. It was single crochet going up, but now we're going to do slip stitches going down. That's kind of the only variance there to the cuff. All right, so in reverse form, we're going to do slip stitch, second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one, right there. Slip stitch, and then repeat, and slip stitch that. And now you can go to your half double crochet for the next 14 stitches. So yarn over, go into the back loop, yarn over, pull through. You're going to have 3 loops on there. You're going to take them all off together. Yarn over, pull them all off. And you notice the height of that half double crochet versus the little slip stitches. And you do that just because it's going to be the top part of the thumb where you'll cinch it together like this. So it gradually goes down in there. Okay, that's one. Turn your work towards you so that you can see your loops better, your back loop. This is a back loop only pattern. So you do your half double again. We're doing 14 total. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And see how it's coming together. Oops. See how it's coming together there. And then you'll finish up with 15 slip stitches here in the cuff. So just like you did at the top of your thumb, you go into that back loop, and I'm going to try to loosen it a little bit more. Pull through both loops. Go through the back loop, yarn over, pull through, pull through. I'm trying not to, you want to make sure it's not too loose and yet not too tight on this side, because it's difficult, as you saw when I was doing my single crochets. So I just give it a little pull there to make sure it's loose and I'm not pulling too tight on my tension. There's that. Slip. And then this last one, you can kind of see it, but if you pull this little bump back a little bit, you can see your stitch easier. And then you chain one and turn your work. And then our goal is 28 rows. We don't count the foundation chain. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So we have a few more to go. And then when we get finished, we're going to be sewing on the outside of the mitten, and eventually we'll flip it right side out. And this is the scarf I made to match this set here. I made the mittens. This is not my pattern here. The scarf, basically, I just did half double crochets and did my own fringe. But all these patterns are not my patterns. It's a lady named Jenn S, and it's based on half double crochets, single stitch and slip stitch on the mittens, half double crochets here, and just slip stitches at the top. I think 5 for the top of the beanie hat. And then I made just a solid pink too. But I wanted to make a scarf yesterday, or the last few days here. I've been working on it between home and work, and I finally finished it yesterday. Put the fringe on it. This is a beginner-friendly pattern. if you do crochet, you get the hang of it, you can do this within a few hours. And these are pretty warm. I mean, you can't stay out for hours in them or anything, but to get you to your vehicle or walking short distances. What I did after work this morning, it was -5 when I walked to my car. So I had another set of gloves, and I had like the finger gloves. I just put those on, and then I had my mittens that I put over top. And it was great. It kept my hands warm to my car. It does have, it does have some holes there. So like I said, you couldn't wear this out in this type of temperature here where I'm from for very long. But it'll get you from A to B quickly and keep your hands warm. Now, if it's warmer, 30s, 40s, you'll be fine. This would be great to wear outside. Okay, so we're going back up. And when we go back up from the cuff, we do single crochets. Hello, hi Sandra. So we're gonna do second stitch from the cut, second stitch from the loop and the hook. This loop, the first loop. So we're going to go single crochet back up. We'll see if I got them loose enough on the other side. There's 3. We're going for 15. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, these are working pretty good. 8, 9. If you keep your other side a little bit on the looser side, it's easier to get in these stitches. 13. I walked out this morning from the hospital and it was, oh my gosh, I haven't felt that cold coming through my scrubs in a very, very long time. I don't think it's been this cold with the negative temperatures for this long. Oh, I'm good. How are you doing? I'm always good when I'm getting to crochet and talk to you guys. It's very relaxing over here. Staying warm. But yeah, it was -5 when I walked to the car. And boy, that wind just whipped right through. It was so cold. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, 15 single crochets. And then 14 half double crochets back up the thumb on the mitten. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's the best part of my day. Oops. These are half doubles. Five, 6, 9, 10, 14. I think we got 14 there. And then the last 2 are slip stitches. Back loop only. This one and this one inside that little bump there. Slip stitch. and you're going to go in reverse order back down the thumb. You chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to do 2 slip stitches again. Second chain from the hook, not this first, but this second one right there. There's 1 and 2, and then back down your half double crochets, 14 half double crochets, yarn over, go into the back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull off all 3 of those chains there. Yarn over, back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull off all 3 loops. Hope everybody had a good day today. This is Wednesday, and I can't believe the end of January is coming up, the weekend. I feel like we blinked and it was over, just about over. But days are getting longer and it's gonna get nicer sooner. Get rid of these frigid temperatures. Spring's right around the corner. Oh, I better be counting here. Okay, 2 slip stitches, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, perfect. Okay, now we need to do our 15 slip stitches, because as we're going into the cuff, we do slip stitches. And try to keep them a little bit on the looser side if you can, to make it easier when you're going back up the other side. 1, 2, slip stitches, just going through the back loop, yarn over and pull through both of those loops there. You can make a whole scarf like this, just back loop only, slip stitches and half doubles if you want. I did the scarf that's on my lap there with half double crochets. Back loop only. Really, the sky's the limit. There's so many fun patterns out there. I was just looking today on Pinterest and YouTube, on the other platform, it starts with a T. And then this last stitch, if you turn it to the side, turn it toward you, you can see, pull the bump down. You can see the last stitch here, and it sometimes gets buried. You just have to pull that bump down and you can see it. Oh, slip stitch. And then chain 1, and then you turn your work. And I need 28 rows. Let me count real quick. So I need to go up and back one more time each. And then I can start sewing it together. And then when you sew it together, it's going to be inside out. So you'll sew it up the cuff. You'll kind of leave the thumb by itself for a minute. You'll sew up to a certain point to the crook of the thumb and all the way up to the mitten top. You'll cinch that part off, and then you'll start here in the crook of the thumb, and then you'll sew up with yarn all the way to the top, and then you'll cinch that part off. And then you'll tuck your tails, flip it inside out, and you will be finished with your mitten. And we're doing single crochets down here. Second loop here, back loop only from the hook. There's 3. 4. Oops. 5. 6. 7. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and one last 15. I'll double count that just to make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, and then the last part of your thumb will be 14 half double crochets and 2 slip stitches. Ten, 11, 12, 13, and 14. 2 slip stitches. That one's really in there. Here, we got it. And then you're gonna chain 1 and turn, and then the reverse. 2 slip stitches, 14 half doubles, and 15 slip stitches. got Everybody Loves Raymond on. Let me count. Is that 14? 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. Okay. All right, and it's the last row here, slip stitches. And then we'll sew it up. Okay, and this time, instead of chaining one, you're gonna slip knot it here. But you're gonna leave a long tail 2 to 3 times your mitten because you're gonna use that to sew. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that through. It's gonna make a knot at the end here. Probably should have counted just to make sure, but I think I got 28 rows now. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there's your little knot. And then you can see, you can kind of straighten it, stretch it a little bit so it lines up better for you. And then it's gonna look like this. I have just this type of blunt tip needle with a large eye. Oh, I'm sorry. Like that. And that's what I'm gonna use to crochet it or sew it up. She says to, using this stitch marker you placed in the body of the mitten previously, while leaving it in place, loop it through the inside and outside edge of the thumb in the 10th stitch down from the top of the thumb on both sides. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it'd be about here. Yeah. Just kind of gives you a guide of where you're sewing, you're not going to sew your thumb yet. You're only going to sew the cuff part up to, here, I'll turn it this way you can see better. I'm going to sew it here in the cuff up to partial part of the thumb, like part way up, and then the crook of the thumb you're going to reinforce really well here. Add some extra stitches and then crochet or sew actually up the rest of the mitten. And then after you cinch it off up there, you'll do your thumb, starting at the crook again. You just reinforce this part here in the crook of your thumb, because sometimes you have a gap, you have a hole, which I've had, and I had to flip it back inside out and sew it a little bit more. And you're trying to sew the top part of your stitches. You line them up as best you can. You reinforce the edging here where your hand's going to go in the cuff. Reinforce this with a couple of stitches, 2 or 3 stitches there, so it's tight. And then just work your way up, kind of matching both sides, and stay in, if you can, do the best you can at sewing it. Go in this top loop here, and then the loop on the other side. You can go through both loops, you can go through the back loop. Some people do that, but I've done both. As long as you match it up as best you can and get it to the top, it looks fine when you flip it outside in. Okay, I'm just threading my needle. And it takes me a minute, you guys. I did have a threader and I broke it. It was just a little, like aluminum. Felt like aluminum. A little needle threader. And it broke. And you're just doing a whip stitch. I'm doing a couple extra reinforced stitches on the end here. Okay, now I'm going to move up. Oh, I don't like that. Get that too tight. Make sure that looks okay. I might come back out. I don't want to make that hole too big there. And if you find you mess up, you just pull it back out. Start over. Sorry, bear with me. Trying to thread this hook again. It takes me a minute. Mama's R's are not what they used to be. How's everybody doing tonight? And how was your day, everybody? Did anyone have to work or go out in the snow or cold? I am Miss Michaela. I'm making a mitten. I am sewing it up as we speak, or trying to thread this needle to sew it up. That's all I have left to do, and then I'll be done with the mitten. And I can show you guys the pattern if you want it. Oh, little rascal. Get in there. Get in there. Okay. My goodness. This is kind of the fun part. It was very cold today, but it's supposed to get even colder. Oh, what is it? Are you gonna be part of that nor'easter that I keep seeing? It was -5 here today for us. How cold has it gotten for you? I haven't seen temperatures like this in a long time. You match these sides up as best you can, the stitches. If you find that it's a little uneven at the top, check periodically and you can just kind of stretch it to match it up like that. I guess. Yes, these won't take a month or two. I promise. A few hours. You take it to work or school when you have some downtime or lunch. Work on it. It's a very beginner-friendly pattern. I promise you, these won't take forever to make. If you're a crocheter, You can get through it pretty quickly. And then the beanie hat's the same way. The beanie hat doesn't take but, you know, a few hours. It's all half double crochets too, and a little slip stitch at the top, but these go pretty quickly. Something about finishing a project like this, you know, I don't know, it's exciting knowing that you've accomplished something fun. And this doesn't feel too overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take me forever. You see progress right away, so it's encouraging. Hi. Hi, Ellen. Welcome in. We're just doing a mitten. I'm whip stitching up the sides right now. Trying to finish this mitten. So we're up to the crook of the thumb, and I usually release that marker, and then I just reinforce this crook of the thumb here part. I do extra stitches in here. Yeah. It's nice when you feel like you can accomplish something pretty quick, something like this. When you don't have much time and you want to do something and don't want it to take forever. This is great. These beanie hats and the mittens are so fast. So anyway, I just put, 2 or 3 in there, and then I go back up the mitten part. And you can see it's mostly lined up, but you can make sure you can kind of stretch the one side to make it match up. And it's forgiving. I mean, as long as you get close to the top, you don't have to be, perfect if you're not, unless it really bothers you to go into the, back loop, front loop, of each one. But as long as you get it close to the top, at least to start. And once you, the more you do, the more you perfect it. But just get one under your belt, and then you can kind of perfect it the way you want it to look. Because it's encouraging once you finish a project, then you build your confidence. Kind of shows you like you can do it. Just stick with it. We're just whip stitching up, just going around. Yeah. Gives you confidence. Most everything's figure outable. You just have to stick with it. And you see those aren't, oops, there. See how the one is a little bit taller? I'm just going to give that a little stretch and make it match up. Okay. I promise you can do this. You can do it. Hello, Jessie. If you have to put an extra stitch in the same loop, the same stitch, that's okay to get it to match up. Sometimes I do that and it looks just fine. Sometimes the yarn gets twisted and you have to untwist. I'm trying to go through the loops. And not through the actual yarn, but sometimes you do. You can't, sometimes you just do. So we're about at the top, and what I want to do is cinch this off here in just a moment. So I'm going to reinforce once I get to the top. Okay. So I'm going to go through, I'm not going to tie it off right now. I'm at the top. You can tie it off if you want at the top now. You see that yarn right there? The little tail. You can actually do a knot with that if you want. Just to kind of reinforce. But you could start your ridges and cinching right off the bat once you get up there if you want. And I usually go through the top of the ridge with the same yarn. And you can do a different piece of yarn. I mean, usually this is, you know, the easiest since you have an extra long piece. But if you get up there and you had enough to just tie it off, you could always tie another piece on or start another piece through your ridges to cinch it off. I've had to do that too, but I didn't have enough yarn at the end. So I'm just going through the top of these ridges. You're not wrong, you know, either the lower portion, middle portion, or top. I try to get it in the top, but you really can't screw this up, you know. Just do your best. What you're doing is just closing that gap. So it doesn't have to be perfect, especially your first few times you're doing it. Give yourself some grace. And then you get to the end, and then you pull, and it cinches it up like that. And you can take that other piece of yarn that you started the whole thing with and tie it off there. Make it as tight as you can. And then I usually reinforce the top by going across, you know, and across ways or across like that before doing a slip knot. You just, again, you go the top through the top. And down through the other side. And then I'm going to take advantage of that yarn again. You can use this piece to slip knot it. I think I'll show you if you're not aware of how to do this. You can do this, go through and pull your needle through that chain. It cinches it off, or slip knots it right there onto itself. Or you can use that little tail. Then after that, you can tuck these little pieces in, cut this off, and tuck it in before you flip it right side out. I won't do that for the moment. I'll work on sewing my thumb. And I think I have enough yarn to sew my thumb up. Looks like it. And then you just start in the crook of your thumb. You tie it off in here. So I'm just going to make a knot with the same yarn I have. And do another. Oop. There you go. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then you match your thumbs up like we did the mitten part. And then just sew in the top of these loops. Doing a whip stitch all the way around. And then you'll cinch it at the top just like you did the mitten. If you don't have enough yarn when you're finished with your mitten, just, you know, get a larger piece of yarn and rethread your needle. If you don't have a needle, you could do your crochet hook or a smaller crochet hook. Okay, I just have a little bit left, but I'm gonna do the same thing with the thumb. Go through the top of the ridges to cinch it off. Okay, and then just cinch it together the best you can, and then I do a crossways reinforcement on this one too. If I still have yarn on my needle, it's getting down there. It's trying to come out of the needle eye. And I'll try to do a slip knot on this if I can. I don't know if I can. Might have to come back and do it. I just, it's barely there, isn't it? I'll try to pull it out through there. Oh, trying to get it off my, out of the eye. Make sure your tail, when you're finishing your 28 rows, make sure you have plenty, 2 to 3 times the size of your mitten, the length of your mitten. That way you'll end up with plenty of yarn. Come on, get out of there. Let me see if I can get it closer so I can see. Okay. There. Okay, so it's knotted. I did get it to knot it onto itself. Let's see. I might just try to do a double knot if I can. Maybe, maybe not. If not, it's okay. We got one good one. And then I'll come back and tuck these tails. But I wanted to show you at least the finished product here. Once you flip it outside, right side out, show you what it looks like. And then you can examine it, make sure if there's any holes, you can go back, flip it back out, inside out, and then finish fixing the holes. So there's the crook of the thumb. There's a little, oh, there's a little gap there, but I mean, if you want, you can go back and fix that. If not, if it doesn't bother you, you can just leave it as is. And then it's for left or right hand. So this is my left hand. And then it comes up pretty high. My wrist is here. So if you have a coat, it'll come down over top, keeping your wrists warm. And then this is the top where it's cinched. And cinched on the thumb. Gives you enough stretch to get it over your hand. But that is the mitten. And then let me show you the pattern. It's not my pattern, it is this nice lady's pattern. And then this is what I go by, just as a nice resource if you want to screenshot it. Her name is Jenn S. Yes, it is very cozy. I just love them. Very easy mitten to do. There's this page. I send lots of people her way. Jen, she is on live a lot, and she's a great teacher. She makes other things, but mittens and beanie hats for sure. And she's just excellent. I'm just showing you how the thumb. I use chain the thumb. At first, when I was learning, I needed to print all these just as a nice resource for me. And yeah, once you get the hang of it, you won't need the pattern so much, just as a quick guide. But that's how she does it. Yeah, so that is it. Hope that's helpful. These are the other mittens I've done recently. I did brown ones, but I have them in my coat. They're like the latte color, tan. And then I did a matching scarf to this color. This is Easter basket is the color of that. Beanie hat to match the scarf and the mittens. It's just fun. Fun pink. I put a little fringe on it. And then I made these. I used her pattern and I just kind of sort of downsized it and wrote a little pattern out for myself to make my little granddaughter some mittens. So that's the adult and the little kid ones. It's just, they're fun. They're fun to do. And they don't take very long. Within a few hours, you have, some mittens. Hello. Hey, thanks guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it. It's always nice when you guys are interactive and talk, so I don't feel like I'm so alone out here on YouTube, in YouTube land. Thank you. Thank you. I hope she likes them. Her favorite color is green. And they love Grinch, so it's so fitting. It's like that Grinch color. But they're stretchy. The cuff. And super soft. So that'll be a good mitten to get from the house to the car and back. I'd say to, play outside. Maybe if it's in the, 30, 40 or more above freezing, they might be okay to stay out there for a little bit, but definitely not waterproof or anything. You can do these, I promise. If I can do them, you can do them. Her name is, her handle, I don't know if it's her name, but Jenn and then S. Right here. And she's on the other platform. I'm not sure if she's on YouTube, but she's on, yeah, she's great. You guys would really like her. She does other things too. I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say maybe 40s. You can't read patterns? I know. Well, I used to be like that too. When I was young, my mom would have these pattern books because, of course, in the 70s, 80s, they didn't have anything like this, YouTube so they would read books and figure it out. So I understand what you're saying, but you know what? If you need help, I have lots of videos. I have lots of tutorials on my YouTube. Feel free to check them out and let it be a guide for you. Check out Jenn S. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Yeah, I'll help you in any way I can, though. Honestly, I want you guys to succeed. If you're new, beginners, or you have experience, you can do this. You just, stick with it. But my videos, I walk through everything. I show you how, and I try to slow it down, and so you can see what I'm doing. Sometimes I get fast and I just, just on automatic, but sometimes I slow it down so you can see. And feel free to reach out if you have questions. You really can do this, I promise. You just have to stick with it if you really want to do it. It's fun. And then just start with one. Just start with one and then get it down and then go from there, making other designs or colors. But I promise this pattern is pretty, I don't know, it's beginner friendly, user friendly, crocheter that's been doing it for a long time. So, yeah, you can do this. No, they're crocheted. Crochet hook. If you crochet, oh, you're welcome. You are welcome. And if I'm in a live and you have your yarn and your crochet hook and you want me to show you something, just feel free to ask and I'll, take some yarn and teach you what you want to know. This is a great pastime. very relaxing. And you can take it with you anywhere. If you're at a game, kids' soccer game, practice, you're in the car waiting, you pop this in your purse and pull it out. I'll put it in a Ziploc bag. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll put a mitten I'm working on or a scarf, and I'll put it in a Ziploc bag and take it to the hospital with me if I'm working. So when I have a break, if I do get a break, but if I get a lunch break, then I'll pull it out and work on my whatever project I'm working on. It's usually something small because I can't take anything big to work. I don't have time to actually, do anything like that. But like a small little mitten or even an adult mitten. I took this to work one night, and it happened to be a really slow night, which is kind of unusual for the hospital. But yeah, I took it out of my Ziploc bag, made sure, my hands were clean because I don't like to touch anything at the hospital sometimes, That's another story. But anyway, yeah, so I worked on it during my break. Got most of my mitten done. But you can take it with you most anywhere, vacations obviously. But it is relaxing, yeah. Yeah, it's so nice. Something that you can do anywhere, most anywhere, anytime. And if you're stressed or you have anxiety or, got a lot on your mind, or you are a fiddler, pull out your crochet bag and start crocheting. I promise you that you can do a lot, get your mind off things, but just getting busy. My mom used to say that. If you're stressed or you're upset, get busy. Get to cleaning your house, crochet, take a walk, do something, but get busy. And I've got to use that motto, all of my life. But this is a way to get busy. That's okay. Honestly, I can't really. Can you read? Can you read like what I showed you, like what those mean? Because she kind of lays it out, the abbreviations, what those mean. But if you have trouble reading patterns, that's okay. That's why we have tons of videos for you to watch, and you can just follow along with me. So you don't need to worry about a pattern. Just follow along with the video. That way you're not worried about a pattern to look at and go off of. It's just a guide, really. So don't worry about that. There's more than one way to figure something out. But I think the nice gray, the solid gray, would go well. The pink's a little bright and stuff. Some people might not like that, but it's cute and it's fun. Be nice for a younger person, like a teenager, 20s. My daughter liked it. She thought it was really cute. She's in her 20s. And then, of course, the bright green. My little granddaughter just loves these. So I can't wait for her to try them on and see if they fit. I sort of adapted the pattern that Jenn S has. And I downsized it a little bit to make a child-size mitten. So hopefully those fit. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I want you guys to be successful. Stay encouraged. You can do it. And I'm here a lot. I'm on live a lot. When I'm not working at the hospital, I try to get on live. I try to about every day if I can, unless I'm babysitting. That's a little challenging. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or want to see something different, feel free to reach out. And I shall let you all go. I'm gonna go get something to drink and call it a night. So I appreciate you all so very much, just being here and talking and interacting. So I will wish you all well and have a wonderful night, everybody. Be safe and stay warm out there in the cold. I will see you all real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.